here we are. So we're jacked to have Terrance from Oregon, and I think someone asked me about him earlier. You know, if you look at the body language of the tape, you could tell you hit a nerve. Acted like I didn't know his jersey number. And then we came back with Josaiah in the third round. He's a really fun player to watch at Michigan. Stat sheet says it all, from Coastal Carolina, transfer up to Michigan. Plenty of sacks, pressures, TFLs, relentless player.
What particular do you guys like about Terrance Ferguson? What do you feel like he adds to the offense in the tight end room?
I think it'd be, Sean's a big fan.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things to like. You know, I think number one, when you hear the backstory, a guy that's overcome some adversity, obviously, you know, special human. I got a lot of respect for Dan Lanning, what they've done at that program. And then you just watch the body of work. He reminds me a lot of Chris Cooley. He's got some similar body mannerisms to Travis Kelce, which Chris Cooley is one of the first players that I ever coached in this league. He's a great football player. You could see he had a great feel, great savvy, and then, you know, same thing. I remember my first year coaching tight ends, evaluating Travis Kelce coming out of Cincinnati. Those are big, lofty comparisons, so certainly not saying that he's those guys yet, but there's a lot of instincts. You see he plays with a change of pace when the ball gets in his hands. I think he can play in the C area. He's moved around the formation. When things go off schedule, he shows what a great feel he has to find soft spots. I thought he and Gabriel had a great rapport. And so I'm really excited to get him in that tight end room with Tyler Higbee, with Colby Parkinson, with Davis Allen. It allows us to be able to explore maybe doing some different things. We'll see where it goes, but he's a stud. We're very excited about him. You said it, Nick. I mean, you kind of mentioned it with the question, and that's been a consistent theme that I think when you look at, we've tried to really lean in, you know, in all the drafts that we've been together, but I think especially over the last couple drafts. Our guys in Les and his group do an excellent job of being able to measure the intangibles and trying to be able to put that into a collective score, and he scored incredibly high with that. And then most importantly, when you trust the vetting and the background that's done on the human being, what he's done, what he's about, his play energy, his tape talks to you in a way that's reflective of what we feel like looks like a Ram. And so ultimately, it's about getting to work with him. I think he's going to be in a room with a lot of great guys, and excited for Scott Huff to be able to help that group continue to develop.
One question, Nick, why was he your favorite player?
I agree with you. Yeah. I was, and obviously Logan is a guy that means a whole lot to me, and I have a great relationship. He was one of my all-time favorite players I've ever had a chance to coach, and for him to have spent the last 4 months with him working on some different things that allowed Logan to be such a successful player above the neck, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, all those things. So that's he's been in good hands, and so now the coaching's going to go down now that he's around me. But Logan's a special guy. I love Logan. I was aware of that.
You know what? It worked the last few times we've done that. Maybe our entire DL is that. But Coastal Carolina obviously is a level, and he was playing really good football there. But when he transferred up and had 2 really, really productive years at Michigan, and again during their national championship run, and even this year, he's just one of those guys. When you turn it, or if you're watching a game on Saturday just on your television, you're like who? I think he went to 0 this year, maybe because he was teammates with Sarenstall. Maybe he was 5 the year before, but you're like, who's 5? And they had really good defensive linemen, but he's that guy that's jumping off the field, playing relentless. I think he had a really good Rose Bowl game last year in front of a lot of people, and it was just fun to watch, especially against a guy like Milroe.
What do you like about his personality? You guys drafted talking about they have to be a Ram.
You know what? It's interesting. Probably with him too, it comes to life on the field, as someone who is just tenacious, plays urgent, is just going to give more effort than the next guy, and then you notice it, and then it's the guy he is big, he's 250, but he's shorter, so the stature. But to see someone go, you know what, I'm gonna go toe to toe with those pulling guards, getting that dirty, as Sean says, the C area, play with those big tackles, especially last year against Alabama. They've got a first rounder and they got some big tackles. So someone of smaller stature, even though he's 250, to see him play tough and physical in there kind of reminds us of a lot of the guys we have.
Sean, when you talked about Ferguson, you said you could allow us to do some things. Having potentially two tight ends like that, it's like that's what you wanted for a long time. Is that accurate?
You know, I think it's a cyclical league. I mean, I can remember even when we first got here, and in Washington, we had really leaned into some heavier tight end personnel groupings. We drafted Gerald Everett with our first pick when we got partnered up, and I think you look at it, the more that you can present and be multiple with a variety of blocking surfaces, some different personnel groupings. You know, we got a lot of confidence in Colby Parkinson and Davis Allen, obviously with Tyler Higbee leading the way. So being able to add Terrance to that group is a big deal. What that means, you know, I think it allows us to be more versatile. And we still have to put the work in, but there's a vision. I think with both of these players, the tape speaks to you. Obviously, the intangibles, they're incredibly appreciated on our end, but also the tape speaks to us in terms of the competitor, the play style. You know, you talk about Josaiah even, you know, people say he might measure a little bit undersized. He doesn't play undersized. You know, Les just mentioned that, but Terrance will provide us the opportunity to have some different things come to life potentially, but we've got a lot of work to put in the meantime. Possibly. You know, I think Nick Hampton's a guy that's capable of doing those types of things as well, Jordan. You know, I think he does. I think when you look at it, if you are able to present different rushers throughout the course of the game, you know, it's just like tackles. You get used to going against somebody, but when you can change up your pitches and you've got different types of rushers where it's Verse, it's BY, it's Josaiah. You know, you look at Nick Hampton is a guy that we are excited about. Brennan Jackson still has some things that, you know, we're excited to be able to watch his development into year two. And even Kiara Thomas played really well when he got an opportunity to contribute. So the answer is yes, he does have the ability to project into doing those types of things. There's a similar system in regards to what they've been doing, what he's been doing at Michigan. You see a versatile skill set to be able to rush, to be able to cover. But ultimately, you know, we'll see, and we're excited to get to work with these guys. Well, I steal plays from them and vice versa, so it goes both ways. I think Will's done an excellent job. You know, Oregon's always been a really fun offense to watch, and even when Dillingham was the coordinator before then. But there's a lot of respect for that program in general. And, you know, I think when you're able to see guys do things that would be in alignment with what you would ask of that position, it's always a little bit easier evaluation and projection to what it would look like within the framework of how we would ask our tight ends. And then he brings some different stuff to life. So did notice some familiar concepts, and I'm sure they'd say the same, that we stole some stuff from them as well.
You got to give Will credit, because every time Sean watches college football, that referee right in the middle of the field there.
We got to move that ref. We got to move that ref.
So
He's in the
Will's
way.
taking
If
Sean's
you're throwing
plays
in
and
breaks on rhythm, man, it's, you know, Matthew would hit that guy in the head a lot. So let's get the ref the hell out of the way.
You know, I've been in Los Angeles since 2016, grew up in Alabama. We really didn't have, let's call it, major fires. And now that I live in Malibu, it's been very intimate to me, the one in 2018, more than this one. So what's really neat is again, and I'm sure there's forest fires in the South, and usually they're kind of natural and you let them burn. What I've been fascinated with in the 18 experience and then watching this one is that's, I'll just call it like it is. It's a badass fire coming at you, and then to witness and to be able to, from afar, not there, to see what these men do, and there might be women here, not sure, but to see that in action and to, you just call it, put your life in danger for your fellow citizen, and that's a big badass fire coming at you. So I can say that with the personal experience, 18 to this year, all that we went through right when it was around the playoffs, and then to see it all happen. But the really thing is being in a team sport and to see people work together, collaborate, competent, collective, come together, and really defeat. Right, I guess some of Mother's Nature's best pitches. That's pretty cool. So give them credit. Y'all are pretty. I don't want to say a fire. They're badasses. I think I told someone here. Here's a good story. When that fire this year was going on, obviously it's now CNN. It's more than just the police chasing local news. You know what I mean? It's CNN. So I have friends from probably still live in Alabama. And it was probably day 2 after the rough one. And I don't know if it was the second day or the third. And it was when that fire in the Hollywood Hills kind of broke out. And all of a sudden it's local, but it's CNN. And I'm on the phone with a friend of mine, and he's like, oh, man, basically Hollywood's going to burn down, right? They're just from Alabama. They think LA's Hollywood. And I knew the winds had died down. I know nothing about what these people do, but I did realize that first one was bad and the winds were bad, but now the winds were calmed, and I told my friends on the phone, I'm betting that these people in the helicopters are going to F that fire up. and it was probably within about 3 to 5, I don't know how long it took them, but they F that fire up. Screw the picks. They F that fire up.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's such a great partnership. I mean, you talk about a platform that we're so fortunate and blessed to have, but people that really make sacrifices that represent everything that you try to really embody as a sports team. And that's way bigger. And, you know, we talked to them today and getting a chance to spend some time with all the first responders earlier today was special. And to have 8 of our players, you know, Matthew Stafford, Tyler Higbee, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, Braden Fish, Jared Verse, and Kobe Turner. You know, those are special players that we're here to be able to spend time with them and to really just give back the appreciation and the gratitude for things that they do that is the epitome of we then me, and the selflessness and the sacrifice and being transformational instead of transactional. They're checking all those boxes. They inspired us, and I think when you look at those 2 games, what I've been so proud of our football team in those instances is you take things that are way bigger than football and you say, let's try to provide a temporary relief or provide a product that people can be proud of from our city to represent these first responders. Not necessarily winning the games, and fortunately we were able to do that in both of those instances, but representing the way you compete, the way you stay connected, the way you respond, the way you act, interact, and respond to the adversity that happens. And our guys did that, and to have those 8 players here sure meant a lot to me, and they were awesome, and I really enjoyed the time that we spent earlier today together.
I'll say this. We mentioned last night James Gladstone living his best life, and I said, hey, if you got one life, right, might as well take your best shot. All of y'all are living one heck of an impactful life.
Amen. No question.
Well, congratulations, Josiah, having played the last 2 years under a current NFL defensive coordinator and a former NFL defensive coordinator, Wink, did that factor in at all? Did that elevate him maybe above some other guys?
Well, it certainly helped. You know, you have some information. Obviously, Wink is really close with Drew Wilkins, who we just hired as our pass rush coordinator, so there's some intimate knowledge. There's also an acknowledgement and an understanding of a lot of the similar concepts that we would activate, and that what Chris has really done an excellent job of being flexible and fluid, and so that certainly helped. Ultimately, it was about his body of work, who he is as a person. That was one of the cooler calls that we've ever had in the 9 years that we've been doing this together, in terms of the emotion, how important it is, what it meant to him. I'm sure at some point you guys will hear it, but there's a lot of work that he's put in to get to the point that he earned tonight, and then he knows there's a lot of work to come. But to answer your question, yes, that was something that helped the evaluation process, but it was about the body of work and the person he is.
We opened this thing, I think there was a video, whatever the video, where the one call will change your life. I do know this, you felt that Josiah's life had changed tonight on that call, so it'd be cool follow-up video to mesh all of that together. What'd you say? You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I took pride in that voiceover. mainly because of these badasses behind us. But I was a little nervous. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm going to be really good at this. I got the accent and all, but you know, I really went after it. I'll say that. So.
Bet you did, buddy. Thank you.